In this video, I'm going to be checking into probably the smallest hotel room I have ever stayed in. Yes, even smaller than that dinky room I stayed in at the Hotel Air in Gatwick Airport. With an internal room size of only 8 square meters, it's really going to be a tight squeeze this time. I'd love it if you could hit the like button on your way in, and please consider subscribing if you haven't already. With that, this is my experience at Snoozebox Hotel in London. Let's head on a wander, shall we? Welcome back folks. I'm in London City today, over in the Stratford area to be exact. I'm actually here to catch a West Ham game later on and film a matchday experience, which is up on the channel right now for you to watch if you're interested. But I said while I'm here, why not find the quirkiest accommodation I could to stay in? I love trying something different, and I've definitely found that anyway for tonight's stay. Like always, this is not sponsored. I've no connection at all to this hotel, and I paid for everything out of my own pocket. I will let you know the price later on when we're checking out the room, so you can see if it's good value or not. It was a pretty awful day weather-wise in London when I visited. I got absolutely soaked from the sudden downpours throughout the morning. To make it worse, stupid me had stepped in a massive puddle early on. So I was trying hard to embrace that wonderful feeling of wet socks and the sound of my runner squelching with every step I took for the past 2 hours. Earlier in the day, I had explored the Stratford area and what was close by to the hotel. The Westfield shopping centre complex is really an amazing spot. Very modern and clean, and you could literally spend days around here with all the shopping venues and all the food and drink options available to you. While I didn't do any shopping, I had stopped by a UK institution earlier to grab myself the obligatory Greggs sausage roll. I also took a long stroll around Queen Elizabeth Park, where the London Stadium is located. The area surrounding the stadium is beautiful, and you can enjoy a peaceful stroll, just taking in all the scenery it has to offer you. It's great for locals and tourists alike to have such a huge green space like this just on the outskirts of the metropolis of London. After racking up some serious miles by foot, it was nearing 1 PM. Check-in wasn't until 3 PM, so I was still a little early, but at that point I could really do with getting out of the rain for a bit and try to dry off some of my gear. So let's head over there now. On the walk over, there's a lovely overlook on a repurposed railway line where you can take in the sights of the impressive London Stadium. I was really excited to be heading in there later on that evening. In terms of transport options to the Snoozebox Hotel, I got the bus to Stratford station this morning because I was coming in from Stansted Airport, and it's about a 25-minute walk to the hotel from there. But the easiest way by far to get to this hotel is by taking the DLR, the Docklands Light Railway, to the Pudding Mill Lane station. The DLR line runs right into the heart of London and intersects with all the other major underground lines as well. So if you're okay with a little travelling time, it's incredibly easy to get to and from all the major tourist spots from this hotel. After exiting the DLR station, Snoozebox is literally just across the road. Right beside the hotel as well is the ABBA Arena, where apparently you can see the iconic band as 3D renderings of themselves. Interestingly, this 3,000 capacity arena can supposedly collapse down as well and be shipped elsewhere when the demand dries up here. Very cool. At the front of the hotel they have a large open area with picnic benches and what looks like a food outlet. While my visit was during the winter months, this area must have a great vibe during the summer evenings. Even before I got in the door, I got caught in yet another crazy downpour.
Beautiful.
Thankfully, the umbrella saved me from the worst of it. While I'm waiting for the shower to pass, let me tell you a bit more about the accommodation I chose. So Snoozebox is unique in that it's a hotel created from shipping containers. They have one located here in Stratford and have a second location over in Canary Wharf. In this location, they were able to create 78 ensuite rooms inside these shipping containers. Because of their small footprint, they're able to offer better room prices than a lot of other London accommodation. Now let's check in and I'll show you the room. Instead of waiting for another 2 hours in the lobby area, I just decided to pay an extra £8 for an early check-in. Something I was really glad I did in the end. I also found out at the desk that I got a free Continental breakfast the next morning with the room rate I booked, so that was a nice little surprise too. Room card in hand, let's go find it and start drying off. Well, already you can see it's pretty tiny. Let's turn on the lights and take a closer look. So all the rooms in this hotel are standard double rooms. They include a double bed, but also have a single bed on a raised platform. They state online that you can only have a maximum of 2 adults per room, so I guess a 3-person is allowed if it's a child. This is definitely what you call minimalist living. Alright, let's check out the ensuite, the bathroom. Okay, so it's just like a wet room. You have your toilet, sink and shower all in one. This actually reminds me so much of the Hotel Air that I stayed in Gatwick Airport. It was another capsule hotel kind of deal, so you can actually watch that video on my channel as well if you're interested after this one. Overall it's really compact, but it's clean, it's functional. What more can you ask for? I'll just say, you better be comfortable with your partner if you're planning to overnight here together. Privacy is also kept to the bare minimum in this room. Back into the sleeping quarters, there's some essential space under the bed for your luggage, shoes and any other large items you may want to stow out of the way to maximise the little space you have. Under the raised bed platform, you'll also find a safe, which is actually quite a rare security feature to have in a budget accommodation such as this. Just outside the wet room, you have a couple of drawers for clothes and a slide out table that can act as a desk. The only thing missing here is a little seat, because you have to sit in the bed if you want to use it. Above that is where you will find 2 power outlets, which is a little awkward to get to. Unfortunately, there is no power outlets or USB ports around the beds themselves. The shelf space is a must though, as it's the only spot to place any items on. The linen on the bed is nice and clean, and the room was immaculate when I entered. However, the actual mattress seems to be a little soft for me, so let's hop up and check the top bunk out and see if it's any better. Thankfully, the top bunk was indeed a hell of a lot better. The mattress was medium firm and it was actually quite wide for a single. No question about it, I will be sleeping up here later on tonight. Watching the TV from up here is also way easier than down below due to the angle it's mounted at. I paid £59.99 for the room and £8 for the early check-in, so in total that's £67.99. That equates to €77 or $89. So this is what you get in Snoozebox in London. Tiny little container room. What do you think? Would you stay here? Let me know in the comments below. There's also AC in here, with the outlet below the double bed beside the door. I cranked the AC up warm and began to try dry out my runners for the next morning, because this was only my first day of an 8-day train and bus trip around the UK, and I really didn't want to be dealing with wet shoes for the coming days. I had a bit of a chill from all the rain earlier, so now it was time to warm up by enjoying a lovely hot shower. The shower was great, good pressure and plenty of warm water, even though you did have to wait a minute or so for it to come up to temperature. Shower complete, I was feeling a lot more revitalised and happy, so I really wanted to go explore the container hotel more and see what else it had to offer. Walking back towards reception, you come across this huge outdoor/indoor common space. Again, nothing was really happening at the time of the year in here, but it's a fantastic area if you were with a group of friends or a social traveller wanting to meet others. At the back there was a closed off bar, and to the right hand side there looked to be another closed food outlet. There's also a big large screen TV and plenty of seating around. It's also decorated quite nicely in here. I guess you call the space a covered terrace. Not very inviting on a day like this, mind you, but I can tell this is a happening spot in warmer months, and if I was a little younger and actually had a lot of friends, you could easily spend the whole night just eating and drinking out here without the need to go anywhere else. Heading back in towards reception, you come into the lobby area, or social hub as they call it here. Another nice perk of your stay is that they offer complimentary tea and coffee around the clock. It's only instant coffee, but it's a lovely gesture all the same. And if you see my videos, you know me, I made use of this right away. I never pass up any opportunity to have a coffee. You can find a full bar in a social hub, And if free instant coffee isn't your thing, you can pay for a fancier coffee at the bar too. I'd bought a bar of dairy milk earlier in the day, and that paired perfectly with my cup of joe. The social hub itself is a plywood paradise, and I felt it was in keeping with the overall theme of the hotel. I also like the mix and match furniture, having everything from comfy chairs and couches to more communal tables. This hologram dancer thing that was belting out some songs in the corner was pretty quirky too. That coffee and chocolate put some much needed pep back into my step. With a busy evening of football ahead, I went back to my tiny room to get ready. Soon after, it was time to say goodbye to the hotel for a while and head out to enjoy the game. I was in luck as well. After a horrendous day, the weather cleared up for the game, and I wouldn't have to contend with any more rain for the rest of the evening. On our way out, let's see what this hotel looks like from above, on the first floor. I found that it's really open to the elements up here. And I think I prefer my ground floor room because it's definitely more sheltered, like myself. Alright, now it's match time. Over 6 hours later, I was back, and absolutely exhausted. Unfortunately, West Ham lost the game I saw, but I still had a lot of fun, exploring the stadium and soaking up the atmosphere throughout. Get me into that bed, get me in. I now couldn't get into bed quick enough. I was wrecked after starting my travel day at 4 a.m. that morning. After doing a little bit of work, I made to climb up into the top bunk. Alright, that's me done for the night. We'll see you in the morning. So, the next morning came a lot sooner than I expected or wanted. The fire alarm went off in the whole hotel at 4:30 a.m. and by God did I wake up startled. The adrenaline pumping, but with the brain still fully in sleep mode, I got dressed as quick as I possibly could and went out to see what the situation was. I actually saw the emergency assembly point when I entered the hotel yesterday, so I made my way over there. And surprisingly, I ended up being the only one out there. All the other guests I saw were either milling about in the reception and lobby area or just outside their room doors. Seems like a false alarm, but that was some way to wake up. Sometimes I'm surprised at the lack of urgency from people in fire alarm situations. Yes, 99% of the time nothing bad happens, but it only needs to happen for real once, and you're a goner if you don't move quick. Thankfully, after 20 minutes of aimlessly walking and waiting around, we got the word that it was a false alarm. The reception staff said that the alarm triggered due to someone smoking in their room. So, if that person ever sees this video, thank you very much for the early wake-up call, you idiot. It wasn't all negative in the end. I actually got a really good sleep in before this, and I'm pretty used to waking up at that time anyway for my normal day job. I just went back to the room and relaxed for the next hour and a half, and by that time breakfast had opened, so I strolled back to the social hub for an early continental breakfast. Breakfast here is served from 6:30 to 10:30 a.m. and if you don't have breakfast included, it costs £13 per person. So this made my room price sound even more of a bargain to me. The selection for a continental breakfast was surprisingly good. I wasn't really expecting much, but there was a load of variety and plenty to choose from. There's lots of cereals, fruit, and even pastries, even though a lot of them were pre-packaged. Of course, I grabbed the coffee and also some orange juice. I then filled up a rather large plate and sat down to enjoy. That dancer is still going strong this morning too. I even went back for seconds. You could say I definitely made use of the free breakfast. I even took a couple of snacks for the road later on. Absolutely stuffed, I went back to the room and began to pack up. moving out. Now for my honest feedback. If you're okay with a minimalist space and compact bedrooms, which I definitely am, this is a great accommodation solution to be able to visit London on a budget while still having a private room and bathroom to yourself. For me, if you're travelling as a couple or a family of 3, you'd be hard pressed to find better value anywhere else in London. Of course, this won't be for everyone. People saying it's too cramped or claustrophobic wouldn't surprise me at all. It's quite industrial in terms of looks and has more of a hostel vibe than a hotel, so if you're looking for those flashy finishes and extra comforts, this won't be the place for you. For me though, all I ever want and need when I travel is value for money, a comfortable bed and a decent location, so it ticked all the boxes for me. Now, I could have done without that early fire alarm going off, but these things happen, and I'm always thankful when it's a false alarm. If you enjoyed this one, please support the channel by subscribing. Take that time to hit the like button, especially if you're watching on a TV, and be sure to leave a comment. It costs nothing, but it really helps me because the YouTube algorithm will show my video to a wider audience. So, I appreciate and want to thank everyone who does. I also respond to every comment, because if you take time out of your day, it's only fair that I do the same. Plus, I really do love hearing your questions, feedback, and reading about your own stories and experiences. And with that, bye for now, and I'll catch you on my next wander.